So I have a question for you. What's the role of motivation in terms of people doing good work? Can leaders do anything about motivation, or is that purely internal, intrinsic to the person who's doing the work? For years, I taught that. That's how I was taught, that motivation is purely internal, that leaders can at best inspire. And I've recently come to rethink that. Let me pause that for just a second, and let me remind you of a framework that has proven to be very useful. It's Tom Gilbert's 6 boxes. And Tom said that in order to do good work, each person must have the information that they require to do the work. They need resources to do that work. They need incentives which align with that work. And these 3 are ones that the organization brings and provides for the employee. The employee brings the knowledge of the job, brings capability, that's the emotional and physical makeup to do the work, the task that's required. And they bring the internal motivation. And again, in Tom's framework, and as Tom's framework was explained to me, that motivation was internal to them. It was really how much did they enjoy the work that we were asking them to do. And while that makes a certain sense, it's a bit emotionally unsatisfying. When I think about the work that I've done, very little of the work that I've done could be told down to motivation in terms of, I just love doing this task and would do nothing else. If motivation was the only requirement, I'd be playing golf every day. So I kept searching and recently came across something called expectancy theory, which had a key to unlock this mystery about how leaders can actually motivate people. Expectancy theory is a cognitive model of motivation based on conscious thought processes as each of us evaluate the tasks that we are called to carry out. In a perfect world, these 3 variables all tie together. That is, the amount of effort that I bring to the game determines the level of performance that I'm able to achieve, which brings me the outcomes that are commensurate with that. So if I put in a lot of effort, I'll be successful and I'll get things I want or avoid things that I wish to avoid. Yet we don't live in a perfect world. And we all know that. And so expectancy theory says we're making these calculations all the time about all 3 of those variables. So can I do what's expected of me in this task? Can I put forth the effort that will be required at the level of excellence that will be required to give me a certain level of success? Then if I achieve this level of success, will it even be recognized by people who matter, or will it be forgotten, unobserved? If I achieve that certain level of performance and it is recognized, will I be rewarded with the outcomes that I personally find to be of value to myself? These variables in that calculation, basically expectancy theory as a whole, rings true. All are part of my motivation to do any job that I approach. My belief in my ability to do what is required, my sense of whether anyone will notice, and then if they do, will I avoid unpleasant consequences or receive the rewards that I value? All 3 impact my motivation for any particular task every time I do it. And I believe that is universal. Assuming it's true, and it's true for me, it's the best thing I've come across to explain human motivation. This has clear ramifications for what leaders can and should do to impact motivation. So what are those ramifications? Remember, the first calculation that our people are making is their belief in their own ability. As they look at the task and what's required to do the task, they're asking, can I do this? How do we impact that? We impact that by making sure we hire the right people in the first place for the work, that we give them the training that they need, and that it's robust training, and that they have the resources that they need in order to do the job. And in today's lean environment, that puts a premium on time. That's probably the big one. The second calculation, according to expectancy theory that people are making, is, will my good work be recognized? That points us directly to the measurement system that we have in place. Are we, in fact, measuring people's performance, keeping track of that, and then giving them feedback in a timely manner? If we're only coming to them once a year as part of the annual performance review, they may rightly consider we really don't know what's going on, and motivation suffers. This also means that perhaps some of the training and knowledge that our leaders need is, how do we have good performance conversations with our people? According to expectancy theory, the third calculation people are making is, if I put forth the effort, I can do it, and then I achieve high levels of performance, will I receive some kind of outcome that I personally value, or will I avoid those things I really don't want to see happen? That points us right up here to our sixth box. I would say that pay for everyone is probably a positive motivator. Everyone would like a bonus. But particularly when we look at non-pay incentives, some things which would be a win for some people, for others would not be. A rotation, a new assignment, even a promotion. For some people will be a reward, and for some people will be a punishment. To close, expectancy theory pointed me back to the 6 boxes and shows me a rich dynamic interplay between these factors. It also answered the question for me. Leaders, in fact, can do a lot to motivate their people.